everybody. Welcome to Jane's Corner. This is my reading nook. I really love to read. Do you like to read? I hope so. Come on in and join me. Today we're going to read Daniel Finds a Poem. Have you ever written a poem? Sometimes people think poetry is really hard, but I think we're going to learn a little bit about poetry today that might make you decide that you can write your own poems. So let's begin. Daniel knows all the rocks, trees, and animals in the park. One Monday morning, Daniel sees something new. On the park gate, a sign reads, "Poetry in the Park, Sunday at 6 o'clock." What is poetry, Daniel says? He looks up in surprise when he hears Spider say, "To me, poetry is when morning dew glistens." You see all the dew glistening on the spider's web? Do you think that's poetry? I think that's a good question. On Tuesday, Daniel climbs the old oak tree. He sees Squirrel. Squirrel, do you know what poetry is? Poetry is when crisp leaves crunch, Squirrel tells him. Do you think that's poetry? On Wednesday, Daniel calls into Chipmunk's hole. "Chipmunk, can you tell me what poetry is?" See the chipmunk? Chipmunks are cute. Poetry. Poetry is a home with many windows in an old stone wall. See Daniel looking at the squirrel? I wonder why the squirrel thinks that his home is poetry. On Thursday, Daniel makes a boat with a leaf for a sail and watches the wind carry it across the pond. He calls quietly to Frog. "Excuse me, Frog, what is poetry?" "Poetry," says Frog, "is a cool pool to dive into." See the frogs diving into the pool? Pool is another word for water. It's not like the swimming pool that you swim in the summer, but it's a pool of water. On Friday, Daniel parts the cattails and finds Turtle. "Hello, Turtle. I have a question. Do you know what poetry is?" "I think poetry is sun-warmed sand," says Turtle. On Saturday afternoon, Daniel finds Cricket in the shade of the slide. See the little cricket under the slide? Right there. When the shadows are long, Cricket fills the air with music. Is this poetry to you, Cricket? "Singing at twilight when the day is done. Indeed it is, Daniel," says the cricket. I do think the sound of crickets are a little like poetry. Do you know what a cricket sounds like? That night, moonlight fills Daniel's room. He hears, "Whoo, whoo." Leaning from his window, he calls to the owl. "Owl, what is poetry?" Oh, poetry. Poetry is bright stars in the branches, moonlight on the grass, and silent wings to take me wherever I go. "Good night, dear Daniel," she whispers, and flies off into the night. That does sound pretty poetic. On Sunday, the sun wakes up Daniel. He's happy when he remembers it's Sunday. "Today is poetry in the park," says Daniel, "and I have a poem." Look at Daniel, he's waking up and he's excited for the day. Morning dew glistens, crisp leaves crunch. There's a home with many windows in the old stone wall. Cool pools to dive in, sun-warmed sand to lie in. Singing at twilight when the day is done. bright stars in the branches, moonlight on the grass, and silent wings to take me wherever I go. Daniel's standing up in front of all those people and he's saying his poem. On the way home, Daniel stops to watch the sunset sky reflecting in the pond. That looks like poetry to me. To me too, says Dragonfly. So what did Daniel learn about poetry? Did he learn that poetry is all around us? I think he did. Did he learn that we can make our own poetry with what we see in nature and with what we hear and sometimes what we smell? I think he did. Poetry is not meant to be complicated. Some poems are long and seem really tough to read, but others are just about our own lives and the things that we experience and the things that we feel. Do you think that you could write a poem now? I bet you can. I hope you try. I hope you take some time today and write down some of the things that you're thinking and feeling and seeing and hearing. I bet you'll make a beautiful poem. I would sure love to hear it. Have a great day.